Hi, I thought I'd post a quick little bitlet, not an actual edited big shebang kind of thing, but just a little me talk kind of thing. I love that word, I'm in my room. For once, I don't have to scream. When you're outside, you really have to scream at the camera. I'm in my room. I recently got that light installed, so I like to work at this little station here that they have for me. This is not exactly my room. This is where I stay at in the shelter that I'm staying at, but they have this little desk here. My room's tiny bit messy, but mostly not. And then I've got this cabinet here. That over there, well, let me see. Okay, it's hard to point at the same time. That over there is a plushie that was given to me in a vending machine in Quebec City on the way hitchhiking to New Brunswick from a good friend. I forget what I called it. Oh yeah, Chappie! Well, not Chappie after the robot in the Diane Toward movie, but it's kind of half-half. The other half being Chaplin, to match that hat up there that I was wearing to help give me confidence during that hitchhike and whatever, if we were asking for change in certain cities. If it was a little embarrassing for me, or if I was just depressed because we were really hot and hitchhiking and things like that, I would put that hat on. And I felt better. This is like, I call it my dyke hat. It excuses me from having to continue with any kind of a female-oriented stereotype kind of thing. Allows me to be a little bit more boyish, but not intentionally boyish, just more completely neutral whenever I want to be less phony. I don't know, nothing against women, just that sometimes I really want to slip out of the stereotype. And, well, on this thing, I've got this lock here for a reason. People here steal from me all the time. It's kind of their main income, it would seem, but I'm not going to point fingers at anyone here. Either way, I'm not allowed to say who stays here, and I don't really know these people. Teens, for the most part. But anyway, let's just stop that conversation right there. And, well, I don't really keep anything in my drawers because I'm afraid that, again, it'll get stolen. Things do go missing here. Laptops, iPads. See what else I got. I got this hobo sign. I've got this hobo sign here. Yeah, you can read it for yourself. And these are flowers that actually one of the people who stays here that was pretty nice. He asked that all the women on the women's level be given flowers because the center gets donations of flowers anyway. And he asked that we have some in our rooms as a surprise. When I came back from a certain trip to a theme park, and I came back at the end of the day, they were just there. And I thought it was my boyfriend at first. I asked Raven, I said, did you leave them there? And apparently not. Which wasn't the end of the world. It was our good friend. End of the world just because jealousy factor. I don't know. Anyway. No, but it was very lovely of him. I want to talk about this. Just because I picked this up in Moncton. In a video I had recorded, I made jokes about this plenty, but I didn't post everything that I recorded. It took me a while to get launched on YouTube, so this is a knit, I don't know, what do you call them in English? In French, it's a Strumpf, or Strumpf. That sounds pretty German, doesn't it? In English, it's Smurf. I didn't really watch too much Smurfs when I was a kid. I had a little phase of watching it on TV, but I'm not a huge fan. Just mostly this thing was asking to be picked up, really, in a donation room in a shelter. Like I went to the back of the shelter, and I was picking out some clothes that I needed at the time. And I said, are those for kids? Are those your kids'? And the lady said, no, you can just go ahead and pick them up. Oh, well, if you insist. I picked the nicest one. The only one that was knit. The other ones were just plushies. But one of them was a little girl, and it was knit, and I was like, you're mine. To talk about anything else, This is painting I'm working on. I want to get it in the lighting. Oh, it's the best I can do. It's covered in gold glitters. Today, well, let's just say those glitters got thrown around and I wasn't very happy about it because I was so happy to find them in a scrapbooking box. I keep going on about how I love these freaking glitters. But it's okay, they were recovered and I can still use them. I'm kind of keeping all the art supplies in my room this time, tonight anyway. They're not mine, they're for the shelter, but I brought them down to my room and see? These are donations. I'm so thankful for them. Because otherwise I wouldn't have money for supplies, you know? I had these, I have about 4 or 5 tubes from the dollar store that actually Raven got with me when I met him. He said, just get what you need to paint. And I got what I needed to paint, and then I painted a picture in front of him. But those tubes are not exactly all the colors you would need to be able to mix every color that you want. I opened a book from the library recently. It showed a lot more than what you would think. You'd think you'd need something like 5 basic colors to be able to mix any color. No, that's not true. There are some colors that are rather unnatural. Kind of neon-y, or I don't really know how to explain it, but a really good, strong pigment doesn't necessarily come from those bases. Especially when it's not the best paint. I mean, I'll apply layer after layer after layer of this stuff. It would seem that it's mostly dye, not so much, like, the consistency isn't thick, I guess, when it dries on a canvas, so you'll have it be kind of like a transparent coating. I don't know. Well, it's all I could afford at the time, but considering I have access to these, so long as I stay here, I'm very thankful. Actually, the person who gave me the flowers offered me this. Another find from the donation room. This isn't gold. This isn't gold. But I like finding things that used to belong to people and that are given away to whatever organization or church basement or whatever. And I give them a life. Especially me. I'm very thankful for things I have, so I feel like they're in good hands. Anyway, it's not that I need a lunchbox per se. The person suggested it was a good idea that I use it to carry my paints around. Tubes of paint. My tubes of paint used to not break, but spill all the time in my bag. That wasn't cool, you know? I kind of need those. And to have all my stuff covered in paint and my hands covered in paint when I'm trying to recover it, and then the shower covered in paint when I'm trying to wash it off, was a rather frustrating experience. So this is actually pretty neat that I've got this. Definitely fits a bunch of colors, because that's another thing, is just having too many tubes in your bag will encourage that leakage to happen. Very much so. I know what's happened again and again. So I don't know what else could I talk about. Oh, well, some more donations. These canvases here. Oh. I'm not gonna go retrieve them, I'm too short. But these canvases up there are also donations. They were so happy to give me whatever artistic stuff they had around when I inquired about that when I got here. It wasn't my original idea to rely on that, but again, Raven's so good with just being aware of stuff and figuring stuff out. He suggested I ask, and I did. And they here at the shelter had some artistic donations in a certain room in their basement. And they also referred me to a drop-in center, I think it's called, downtown here in Halifax. And they had a few, not many, but they had a few art supplies too. So I'm very lucky to have what I have, because otherwise I wouldn't have it. And then, well, I'm not going to show you all my clothes. Right now they're all in bins. I'm lucky they're not all over the floor. Honestly, I'm completely disorganized. But practically, well, absolutely practically everything that I wear, which is kind of a lot of clothes. You know, enough for a chick to have. A lot of my clothes, all my clothes, they come from donations also. They're secondhand clothing. It's not to say that I don't like new stuff. I love new stuff. Not all new stuff, but man, for example, downtown they've got this thing called the Black Market. This shop has Indian patterns, or I don't know, which artsy fartsy, so much detail to them, so many colors, so complex. It's beautiful. It looks like from another culture. But anyway, I can't afford that stuff. So I've got these donations, and I identify to wearing them because I'm what I call like a semi-nomad traveler, where I'll move not necessarily every month or so, but every few months or depending on where I am. This is just the second place that I visit, but my boyfriend and I have the intention of going and going and going. He's been doing it for a while. I've been wanting to do it my whole life. So we're good. We're good to keep going. So I identify to wearing secondhand clothing. I forgot to mention also because my mom is crazy about secondhand clothing. She has businesses and stuff like that she's tried to have or does have, or I don't know by now. But she's an avid secondhand clothing fan. So I've always had secondhand clothing. If not completely, then partially. Really nice, pretty girl dresses. I don't wear fancy girl dresses, but I like cute dresses. I don't know how to explain that. Or modest dresses, depending. You know, artsy fartsy hipster stuff. Not too much though, not too frou-frou. It's nice to find those things down here in the donations room basement thing because I have complex taste. I mean, my taste didn't even come in fashion until a couple years ago. Hipster movement or vintage movement, I don't know, kind of brought out a little less chic and sexy and a little bit more, I'm not going to use keywords at all, but let's just say my clothing style has been popular in the last couple years, and that means that donations are now to my liking, which is so nice. So to find nice things for me to wear here in the donations is not completely uncommon. It's not all the time, but every now and again I'll go down there and find something, and it'll make my day, kind of. Anyway, so 12 minutes and 33 seconds, that's pretty long to be talking to myself. So I'm going to finish the video and, yeah, I think I'm going to work on the painting. I should get some sleep. I've been lacking a lot of sleep lately, but I don't feel like it.